to see some magic? I've got something to show you. Imagine if someone partway around the world could invent something in their brain, and then it could just magically be teleported into existence. And it could appear right here in front of us. How cool would that be? That's just pure magic, isn't it? How does this even happen? Some clever person comes up with an idea of an object, and it magically appears inside a little box just near me, and then I can walk over and pick it up. And I have the thing that they conjured using the stuff inside their skull. And now it's becoming a real thing. It is amazing. Every now and then I just stop and think, Pete, 35 month silver supporter. Yes. As Vic says, damn, it was a feeling first time I did that. Yes. And what is coming out of this little magic replication machine right now is a child of Vic's brain. So, yeah, this is not a super time critical thing in terms of what we're going to be doing today, but we will get to that. And before I get into all of that, I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. Good morning, everybody. Hey, how about we start with a couple of nerd brags? So, and also I should say good morning to some people. Okay, let's get that started. So, good morning to Pete. You were at the top of the list. I'm not sure, the list I assume just sorts it in the order in which people appeared on like the YouTube chat API. So, Pete, top of the list, top of the morning to you, Pete. Good morning. Okay, here we go, clicking through. Amanda, good morning. Michael Wise, Vic Oliver, the man himself. Crispian is here, John Whips, Tinker001. Grant Maisels, Sharky, Don S is here. Johnny Bergdahl, Evil Deese. Evil Deese is back, good to see you. Russell Rainey. So, and there'll be more. Oh, I can see the cast note thing will take a little bit to catch up. There are other people in the chat. So, oh, okay. Now, ESP cam. Yes. So, there is more. There is more to that. Pete! Come on, son. You don't need to buy me. I didn't turn the music off. Yeah, we're driving in the car. Pete's in the back seat causing problems. I did not have the music up loud enough. Where was I? Oh, and Imi is here too. Okay, hello Imi. So I know that there, just from back channel conversations and various discussions I've had with different people during the week, I know that there are people with nerd brags. So I'm not sure if you want this to be public, Amanda, but I know Amanda has a nerd brag. Do you feel okay with sharing your submission? Oh, yes. So Amanda said, my brag is that I finished my last assessment for my BA in film and television. Now all I have left is my graduation ceremony next month. Ooh, congratulations. So the final assessment for Amanda's course was submission of a student film. And so that's what I was getting at. Yeah, so Amanda, feel free to drop a link to it in, oh yes, you posted a link in the stream. You did? Where? I missed it. Where? I'm scrolling back. Not there. I don't see it. Okay. I know you sent me the link directly, but I don't remember seeing it in the stream. So, good morning to David, Paul Schultz, Gavin Jackson. Good morning. Yes, seriously, congrats. That is a very big achievement. Nice one. And while also doing paramedic type work and AV type work and all sorts of other things. So Amanda has been busy. Vic's Nerd Brag, this is an interesting one. Now, Jeremy Jezza is back. Okay, so I have a question for Jeremy. And now that I have had a week, now that I've had a week to get over the shock of seeing the photo that Jeremy sent me last week, I am really tempted to show it on stream. The problem is that once it is out there, it is out there. So the... oh, and also good morning to Tidra. Once it is out there, it is out there. I can't unshare it. So, question. No, says Jez. No. All right, a question for you. Do you know that... do you know when that photo was taken? Somewhere around, I do have other photos from that same trip with me wearing exactly the same stuff. But I don't know where they are at the moment. The photos are around, they do exist. The evidence of a misspent youth. So, do you remember the actual, like the year, when it was? I have a feeling that we were probably 19, is kind of where I can narrow it down to, somewhere in that region. It was, you know, just post-school or something, you know, somewhere in that sort of stage of life. Paul says, no brag, I got 2 ESP32 cams screaming to my phone plus Google Cardboard for stereoscopic vision. Nice. When you say screaming, I actually like that. It would have been streaming, S/C/T, but noisy things, yeah. So 2 ESP32 cams streaming to my phone plus Google Cardboard. I prefer screaming. From now on, whenever we have the word streaming, we will substitute screaming. It does seem appropriate. Now, Vic Oliver said, cool Paul, hooking up a couple of USB microscopes might be fun or totally disorienting. That is a really, really interesting idea. Okay, this is a squirrel that I am kind of interested in chasing, and I'm going to have to hold myself back from it. Because one thing about... yeah, welcome to the live stream, says Simon. One thing that is a major difference between looking at something through a microscope with a camera versus binocular is the depth of field that you get with the binocular vision. It is so much better. So when I show you things on the microscope through the camera on the stream, and you're seeing, so firstly the camera that looks through the third optical path has a much reduced field of view. So what you're seeing is only like a little box in the middle of the field of view that I can see through the stereo eyepieces. But also, Michael says, I'm going for a walk along a scream. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to chase a squirrel off a squirrel. One very funny sort of diversion. Many, many years ago, back at IVT, there was a temporary diversion where a few of us decided that we would use inflation speak, which is where you, I'm trying to remember how it worked. I wrote some code that would generate inflation speak from regular English. So inflation speak is where you take anywhere that there is something that phonetically matches a number and you increase it by 1. So okay, so if you had, I'm going to try to think of a real, my brain is not going to be able to do this properly anymore. I used to be able to do it really quickly. So you would say, for example, I want to look at this. You would say, I want 3 look at this. And that's just because the word to gets substituted, like you inflate the word to and it becomes 3. So I want 3 look at this. And when you start blending that sort of inflation into sentences as you're speaking, it can sound hilarious and really disconcerting, disorienting. And so, yeah, lieutenant becomes lieutenant. Yes, that's right, lieutenant, because 10 is in lieutenant, so it becomes lieu-elevant. So I wrote some code in Site Builder. I think I did it as like a I can't remember where I implemented it, but I think it was some kind of like a plugin for Site Builder, which was the content management system, so that you could generate content and it would automatically apply inflation speak to it. So when you were reading the content on a website, it would all be in inflation speak. So, and yeah, for a little while, there was one of the guys there, and I who just thought it was funny, so we got into it for a while. One of the developers. Okay, so where are we? Hello to Stephen and Simon. Now okay, so I am backtracking. I've got to rewind the stack now because I have squirreled off a squirrel off a squirrel. The backing up one, I saw someone talking about the okay, so ESP cams, then the stack is already too deep. All right, stereo microscopes. I really like the idea. Hang on, I'm going to cut my audio level. There we go. Okay, I didn't trim the audio level on the ATEM, so I was probably coming in way too hot previously. Now it would be really interesting to put 2 USB microscope cameras pointing at the same thing, capture both those streams, as in video streams, merge them, and generate a stereo video stream, so that if, for example, you had something like a cardboard system and you were watching, when I'm talking about cardboard, I mean, so for those of you who don't know, cardboard is a super cheap way of doing like a virtual reality. It's basically a box you can stick on your face and you put a phone in it. And the phone screen gets split into left and right eye views, so that your left eye sees one view, your right eye sees the other view, and it gives you true stereo vision with a headset. But it's just made out of a piece of cardboard folded up. So it's like the cheapest, simplest possible way of doing virtual reality, stereo virtual reality. And it would be really interesting to have a stereo VR view through the microscope. All right, that is a squirrel I would like to chase, but I'm going to resist that one right now. It's a very interesting idea for a future thing though. Okay, so talking about ESP32 cams. Okay, I will give the quick wrap up because there have been more developments on the ESP32 cams. And the end result is that with Andy's, I was going to say with Andy's assistance, but it was more than assistance. It was Andy largely solving the problem. On Monday night, we had, so Andy runs a group. Also, this is like a promo, shout out for the group. Andy runs a group called, the shorthand for it is AMR. It's basically AI plus machine learning plus robotics. And it's a group where he has gathered together a bunch of people who are interested in combining physical computing like robotics with machine learning. So that is, I mean, many of you have been seeing the BeetleBot project evolving over time. That's what that's about. So we had a video conf on Monday night with a few people in it. And then after, and Andy physically came here. So he was sitting right here, right behind me for that particular meeting. And we were both tuned into the same meeting. And after that, we went on a bit of a debug session to figure out what was going on with the ESP32 cam. And what we discovered is that there is a confluence of hardware issues that were causing me to trip up on being able to upload to it. So the very first one was that we discovered that different generations of the ESP32 cam have one pin that is either tied to ground or it is the reset pin. So the situation that I had was I had an older version of the ESP32 cam. I had a newer version of the programming carrier board. The programming carrier board was trying to assert reset on a pin that was tied to ground. So the reset, I thought that I was resetting the processor. It was doing absolutely nothing. I was trying to put it into bootloader mode by holding down the boot button and pressing reset, but reset was never actually resetting the processor. So that was the first thing. That was the track that we were on in the last live stream. Then we discovered another problem. What was that problem? I can't remember exactly. There was some other confounding issue. And the combination of these confounding issues meant that either of them would have been enough to stop it working, and both together, they made it one made it hard to debug the other because it was hiding the behavior of the other fault, the other problem. We got it all figured out. The end result now is that, oh, that's right, the other thing is that we discovered that they were different camera modules, the different generations, and one of them was rotated 90 degrees. And so there were some weird issues with the camera setup in it. And also, that's right, there was also a software bug. There is a first frame bug where, so this is related to the different cameras, I think. There is a first frame bug where when the client connects to the streaming server, the first frame will, I'm not quite sure the mechanism of it, but basically it will render the first frame in the client, and then the client no longer updates. So you get a frozen first frame image. So then what you have to do is disconnect the client, reconnect it, and then you get the full video stream coming through. And it works fine from that point on. The resolution changes, and it goes from a weird resolution to the proper requested resolution. The stream comes through, everything runs fine. But because of the differences in the hardware, we had two boards sitting here, and we were doing tests on one and tests on the other, and we were getting inconsistent results and trying to figure out what was going on. And then we realized that both of the boards were failing with the first frame bug. It looked like one of them wasn't failing just because the way the representation came up on screen. It looked like it was working, but it wasn't. It was, so that, yeah, that tripped us up for a little while. And eventually we did a whole lot of A/B testing and binary chopped ourselves to a solution and figured out that the problem was a combination of the different generation of the ESP32 cam board, different camera modules, and the software failing, like soft failing, in different ways on the two different boards. Once we eliminated all of that, we can now reliably put MicroPython onto the ESP32 cam board, and we can load code that will stream video from the camera. Right now there is not support for rotation. That needs to be added because the new generation boards have the rotation set correctly. The old generation boards have it rotated 90 degrees. So we've got to fix that so that we can support all the different camera types. But that's the long and the short of it, is that we eventually got to the bottom of the faults. Oh look, the little magic machine has finished. We eventually got to the bottom of the faults, and we can now stream video reliably from an ESP32 cam.
What's on the way?
Oh yes. Crispian asked, is it raining yet? Yes. It started raining pretty much as the stream started, and it is now raining quite hard. Just before the stream started, it was windy and dramatic and, you know, the start of a haunted house movie sort of weather. But now it is actually properly raining. Okay, I've got to try to catch up on chat. And, okay, so Evil D says, in high school, my friends and I used to use our own variant of Pig Latin to write notes to each other. Once we got caught and the teacher took it up to the front to read it out. Oh, okay, I want to know the rest of that story. Evil, what was it that was read out? M. Laguda 84. So I, just based on the username, that must be Mark. Is that Mark Laguda? I assume it is. So, Mark, Nerdbrag, came back from Japan where I visited the Dawn Avatar Robot Cafe. Interesting story behind it. Oh, I want to go to Japan and visit the Dawn Avatar Robot Cafe. Tell me about the Dawn Avatar Robot Cafe, Mark. Please. Please tell the class about the story. Michael says, I so want to go through Laurel Ipsum and inflate it. Oh, there is a factory right near here. And I don't know if... I would like the backstory. Hang on, I'm going to pull this up. I drive past this place just about every day. Look at this. There is a company called Laurel Ipsum in Jersey Road. I'm not quite doxing myself. Jersey Road is near to me. And there are big semi-trailers that drive around. And look at this. So their logo is Laurel Ipsum. And is there a picture of a truck or something? I don't know. But on the front of their building, it's got this logo. Like they've got this branding. Let's see. Laurel Ipsum truck. Images. Laurel Ipsum. No. No. Oh, I was hoping to see pictures of the actual trucks that drive around. There are semi-trailers that drive around this area with Laurel Ipsum. But look at this. I searched for Laurel Ipsum, and it says it appears to be a combination of filler text and references to a trucking or industrial manufacturing. Yeah, Laurel Ipsum Australia, a company based in Melbourne, Australia, specialising in contract manufacturing. Oh, it just makes me... It makes me grin every time I see that place. because I just want to know the backstory. How did they end up naming a company Laurel Ipsum? And I do not want to know the real answer, because it would ruin the story that I have built up in my head, that they went to a graphic design company, like maybe some kind of like a branding consultancy when they were setting up the business. And the branding consultancy came up with the concepts, and they did this little fancy logo, and they just chucked some filler text in there, and someone signed off on it and said, yeah, we like that design, and they sent stuff off to get printing done, and then went, oh no, we're stuck with the name Laurel Ipsum. And now we better register it. And thus Laurel Ipsum Proprietary Limited came to exist. Copyright 2026, Laurel Ipsum Proprietary Limited. Now I know that it is not exact, like it is one letter off the standard filler text, but
they're resting on their laurels. Sorry, lorries.
It makes me laugh anyway. Yeah. Okay. Laurel Ipsum. Oh, don't drop it. You're already very quiet. Oh, really? Wait. Michael is using inflation speak. I said I was coming in way too hot, and he said, yeah, way 3 hot. Microscopic. Ooh. Vic says you could put 24mm USB images in the eyepieces of the binocular microscopes. Oh, Grant says the company I work for made the official Google cardboard. Aurora made cardboard boxes. All right. Yeah. Okay. Where am I up to? I am looking at the chat. Looking at the chat. Minions. 3 by Minions, says Crispian. I don't know. Evil D says, if you don't have current limiting in your design, the output FET in your programmer becomes the current limiter. Yeah. Yes, that is that is a more specific version of the rule that if you do not put a fuse in your design, the design will decide where the fuse should be for you. Yeah. Your circuit will inevitably have a fuse. It just may not be the one that the place where you want it to be. Googly eye mod is Stephen. Yeah, Stephen was just commenting on the googly eye mod. With Imi's googly eyes, I have a whole bag of googly eyes here of different sizes, thanks to Imi. So they get applied to things. There are googly eyes all over the lab now. Oh, Evil D says they looked at it for a few seconds and then decided they couldn't decipher it. Michael says I dox myself every time I have a barbecue. Yeah. They're resting on their Oh, Crispian says I drove a semi in there a couple of times. All right, cool. Doing deliveries or pickups or whatever to Laurel Ipsum. Oh, Evil D said, off topic. Life hack, getting ready for tax time. Ask Anti-Gravity to pop open a browser, manually log into sites, then you can ask the AI to download all the statements for you instead of clicking 200 things. Oh, okay. And as Vic says, anything is a fuse given enough amps. Even air becomes a fuse if you ionize it hard enough. Tinker says, I've personally seen an 8-inch structural beam act as a fuse. A little while ago, I ended up, one of those classic YouTube things. There was someone on YouTube, I can't remember where he was based. It might have been, I'm just opening YouTube to see if I can find it. It was someone who was setting off fuses that are designed for, oh, here we go. Yes, this one. Popping a 6,000 amp fuse. Styropyro, yeah. Popping a 5,000 amp fuse. So there was photonic induction, yep. So that's a very well-known channel. Now this guy, I'm going to open a couple. All right, I'm going to mute my computer briefly. And then I'm going to open a couple of videos and just point these at you. Now, this guy, the Styropyro guy, he's like one of the smiliest people I think I've ever seen. Okay, so this is popping a 5,000 amp fuse. So these are fuses that are designed for use on transmission lines and ridiculous places like that for making of the video. Yeah, so this is one that I've seen before. Somewhere in here there is testing. Oh yeah, like look at the scale of the stuff they're dealing with here. Contacts are like 20mm bolts. Somewhere in here, is that the fuse? I think that is the fuse, yes. So the fuse has all of these segments in it, and it's a bit of a cascade failure effect. So what happens is, oh, look at this. Look at these cables. That is just crazy. Where is it? Yeah, this is the setup. Let's play. Let's play. That is the fuse right there. So this is a fuse that takes 2 hands to carry, or a wheelbarrow. What's the air compressor for? I don't know. The air compressor's doing something in this. But look at these cables. Crazy. So popping a 5,000 amp fuse. Oh, there we go. Boom. That's what happens when a 5,000 amp fuse pops. So I think the way that these things are designed, the reason that there are a whole lot of little segments in it is that they are designed to have a cascade failure effect. And it's essentially a whole bunch of, there we go. So it's a whole bunch of smaller fuses in parallel. I mean, when I say smaller, they're still like 300 amp, 500 amp or something, you know, in that region. How many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 rows, and I think there are multiple stacks. So each of these is doing in the order of hundreds of amps. I don't know how many stacks there are. And the current flows through them all, splits between them. And at a certain point, one of them becomes the weak link at a certain amount of current, and it will go bang. And then it's like an almost instant cascade failure effect, because one segment burning out will cause the current to be distributed across the other segments, which then reach their failure point more quickly, and then they pop. And so you get this house of cards effect where if you're sitting close to the limit of the fuse and one of the segments fails, the rest will fail in a very explosive way, very, very quickly, because they all almost immediately exceed their rating. Look, there you can see there to there, it's starting to smoke. Boom. Yeah, the camera can't handle it there. Yes, and that's what's left afterwards. Nothing but ash and bits of twisted metal. Yeah, Styropyro. Where is it? Let's see the setup here. Oh, he's got the classic old 1054Z. Yeah. So, what is he setting? Is this just a? Surely not just a car battery. It couldn't deliver. Oh, what's he doing? Okay. Anyway, if you, oh, look at this. Okay, that's how he's done it. Look at these car batteries. He's got, imagine a Beowulf cluster of car batteries. He's hiding behind a tree. So that's how he's generating the current necessary to blow this 6,000 amp fuse. So anyway, I'm just going to give you a fraction, like just a moment. I don't want to get YouTube copyright striked, but yeah, go and check out StyroPyro too. I'm going to play
This is
just
still
a little
the
bit.
biggest fuse that's been popped on video. Well, I'm going to try popping a 6,000 amp fuse.
See, he's just
This
a
monster
smiley
weighs
guy.
Something like 45 pounds, and it's the biggest fuse that I could find online. Now, it's not often that I can beat photonic induction at anything, so I felt like this was a good use of my batteries.
See what I mean? It's just like, he's just like this. He's happy about everything, and he's like that in all of his videos. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty happy if I was tripping a 6,000 amp fuse. So what I can't remember is what it takes. What is the actual current that it takes to blow a 6,000 amp fuse? Because it would be, it'd be more than 6,000 amps, obviously. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? David asks, how much power do you need to run through an 8-inch structural beam for it to fuse, though? Yeah, all of the amps. Get them all, gather them all together in one place, and you may have enough. Okay. Oh, there was a nerd brag back there from Vic, which I read with my eyes and it did not come out of my mouth, which is that during the week, he figured out a process for using the RepRapMicron to etch its own probes. So one of the processes involved in building a RepRapMicron is chemically etching the probe down to an atomically fine point. And the way Vic has been doing that in the past is with a little beaker of the necessary solution and then lowering the probe into it with it, like timing it for a certain number of seconds, drawing it back out. And the way you, okay, Vic has provided a link. Let me open this link. Ooh, yes. Okay. And yeah. Oh, 3 whole hours ago. This is the cutting edge, folks. The cutting edge of this technology. So yeah, the complete process currently documented on printables. So you have a jig to hold the wire, and then you lower it into the stuff. Here we go. The probe etching material, wire selection, electrolyte, 0.3, 28 gauge stainless steel. Ooh, from a vape shop. Oh, okay, so maybe that's a place that I should frequent exactly once. If you go somewhere once, does it count as frequenting the establishment? Or is it only frequent if it is frequent? The wire may vary. Yes. Electrolyte solution. What is it? A 5% by weight of plain table salt in water. And to this, 3% by volume of 28% hydrochloric acid is added. Okay, don't breathe the fumes. Do not breathe the fumes. Electrolyte container. Bent and beaten stainless steel spoon used as an electrode, power source, etc. So the point, the very, very simple summary point of this is that Vic has worked out this process where the RepRapMicron itself does the process of lowering the tip into the solution, and then you do the etching and then pull it back out again. And it has all been documented here. Probe tip fabrication and assembly. Very nice. All right, I'm going to leave that open. Here's a squirrel at visit, says Crispian. 5 megawatt, but the label says 5,000 kilowatt. Stephen says, do you need to note that the urine sample pot be unused? Are people likely to use used ones? Yeah, 400 batteries is what StyroPyro was using to... Oh, okay. David says, the air compressor drives the decoupling safety mechanism. So here we're talking about popping that 6,000 amp, or 5,000 amp fuse. Novel etchant alternative. Okay. Alrighty. Where are we up to? Where we are up to is I am going to try to smooth up some M3 by 50 millimeter bolts and put them onto the couplings, put them onto steppers. Let's put some stuff together. Now, unless I've missed it, I have not seen Jez Kemp back in the chat with an update on when that photo was taken. Oh, and I saw someone earlier say, I hope at least you showed it to your kids. So this is the photo of me. For those of you who weren't here last week, my old friend Jeremy, who I went to school with, jumped into the chat and then emailed me a photo that was taken on a climbing trip back when we were, I think, about 19. And the photo was of me wearing nothing but some leopard skin lycra leotard. And very big glasses and lots of hair and a beard. And it was a horrifying photo. So yes, I did. I sent it to my kids, and the reaction from one of them was like just lines and lines of laughing, and the and the other one has not acknowledged the existence of the photo. And yeah, so the photo for now can remain unseen. I was tempted to show it, but oh no, David says, well, you need to share it again for those who weren't here last week. I didn't share it last week. I saw it and was so amused and horrified that I thought, no, this is never going to see the light of day. But the more I think about it and laugh about it, I don't mind being the butt of jokes to amuse other people. And David says, well, you need to share it this week so that we can all laugh at you and heckle. Okay. Okay, here is the deal. I will share the photo in a stream if one particular person says it's okay to. And I'm not going to tell you who the person is. It's just I think the person knows. The person who it is knows who they are. So if they give me the okay, then I will share it. Michael says, I say it is okay. Yep. Michael is the person. All right. What am I doing? Okay, I've got a whole bunch of RepRap stuff sitting here on the bench right beside me. Jack Sex says, just put it on the wall in the background. Yeah, what I could do is print it and get it framed like a proper picture and stick it on the wall somewhere and just not draw any attention to it. And people who come to the barbecue may just stumble across it. And if I hear howls of laughter, then I know that people have discovered the picture. Okay. Where am I up to? Laser etch it at A0 as a sign on the building. No, I do not want to drive people away. Okay, 6 foot high cutout. Okie dokie. What are we doing? I think I'm going to translate myself approximately 50 centimeters to my right, and you will see me emerge in a moment. And where is it? Okay, I'm just preparing stuff on my computer here. Tinker says randomly use it as the thumbnail for a future stream. Oh, Jack's text suggested, but just the face, like Dave's head. I wonder if I trim this down to just the face. Yeah, that could be enough of a tease. Just the face is funny enough because of the glasses that I was wearing. They were the biggest glasses in the world. Okay. Enough now. Enough now. Sliding sideways, back in view. I think I might need to blow my nose because I've got like a hay fever sort of situation going on at the moment, and I'm not sick as such. Like, I don't have an infection or anything like that. Ooh, hang on. Ah, John says photo bribe. Ah, thank you, John. I can often be bribed in different ways, many of those ways involving chocolate, but yeah. David says, were they serious glasses or joke glasses? No, they were serious glasses. They were the glasses that I used to wear. And I'm sure that how long ago? In another 35 years, 36 years, however long ago that photo was taken, in another 36 years from now, I'm going to look back at the glasses that I'm wearing right now and think, ha ha ha, look at those glasses. They were so mid-2020s. All right, yeah, I'm not actually sick, but my nose has been running in reaction to, I don't know, various things going on, like maybe some of the dust related to stuff I've been doing. And maybe pollen around, whatever it is going on, it's annoying because it's just over a period of time, they just get blocked up. Okay, I've got to mute. Are they 60s, 70s style glasses? No, not quite. I might show you. I'm still waiting to see if I get a notification from the person who has the authority to release this image into the world. Hang on, I'm going to mute myself and blow my nose. Okay, hopefully that's better. Hopefully that will get me through to the end of the stream. So back to here, and what I'm going to do, one of the things that Vic pointed out to me, because I have been acquiring things. This is what I've acquired. I have proper 50mm M3 bolts, which are full thread. Although technically, as Vic says, I should call them screws, not bolts. Because if you go into a bolt place and you say, I want a 50mm M3, you will typically get something that's like a half shank. So it'll be 3mm shaft for the first half and then threaded for the final half, approximately. I'm not sure what the ratio is. And that's no good. But if you ask for a screw, then it gets threaded all the way to the end. Now these ones are cap heads, so they've got this the hex head on them, and it's a round head with knurling on it. And they need to fit into these little couplings, which are on the steppers. The couplings are set up for a hex-shaped head, like a standard bolt head, but these, luckily, are a tight press fit. Whoop. Like, I can push it in, and it takes a fair bit of effort to get it in there. So I think it is actually going to work really well, particularly because this is knurled. It's going to go in and lock itself in quite well. And Vic has designed this so that the hole, the hexagonal shaped hole here for the head, is tapered in. It's not parallel sided. So as you push the bolt into it, it jams into the taper and becomes quite strongly attached. So basically this is what I need to do, is attach here, because what I have, move this out of the way, from previous assembly exercises is this. So this is what I did some time ago when I had a piece of instead of a bolt in there, I cut a length of threaded rod, put a nut onto it, and glued it on, and then I put this into here and used the UV cured nail polish as an adhesive to attach it into the plastic. So that may work. It actually may work pretty well, to the extent that, like, if I clamp this down here and I bend this, see how I'm bending it? That is because there is a compliant mechanism inside this coupling so that the motor can run and this can comply slightly. It only needs a little bit of compliance. But this is actually quite strong. Like, the way this is bonded into here is quite good. So what I might do is leave this one in place, and I will just use the 50mm bolts in the other two axes. And this might do the job just fine. But the thing is, Vic pointed out that the blackened surface on these, I need a mute button near me so I can cough. The blackened surface on these may not move smoothly enough, because as this turns, there is going to be an M3 nut on it that will move up and down, and that is what pushes on the axis drivers to make them do their thing. And any grit or inconsistency in this thread is going to be transferred through to what we are driving. So we need to make sure that a nut will run smoothly on this. So my plan for that, I'm just going to grab myself a nut, is to put a nut on this, put this in the drill, run it backwards and forwards a couple of times. And so this is hopefully this is a Vic approved plan. I suggested to him, he pointed out that the bolts that I had may not be suitable. And so my plan is, yeah, it doesn't really want to go on properly. I don't want to get that. Oh yeah, there we go. My plan is just to run this backwards and forwards a couple of times. Seems pretty smooth. Like, it feels smooth.
In Ballarat and is watching with us now.
Oh.
She says hello.
Hello. For those of you who couldn't hear the TTS, and I need to turn the volume up. Here we go. I'll turn it up for the next time. Crispian just said that his mum is staying with them in Ballarat and is saying hello. Hello. Some of you will have met her because she came along to a barbecue last year sometime. Sorry, I stopped talking because this is noisy. I'm just going to run it backwards and forwards a couple of times and then do another one. Okay, so I think that should be nicely smooth now. I don't know how many times I should run it backwards and forwards. I'm just going to put this on by hand and try spinning it and see what it feels like. What I'm doing is holding the nut, hold it still there, and then pushing the bolt against it so that it's loading the thread and turning it. And I want to feel whether there is any grittiness or obstruction, and it seems, yeah. Oh, Vic says the blacking is a rough phosphate finish. Rough bad, yeah. And it's feeling really silky smooth now. Because I've run this backwards and forwards a couple of times, I think it's sort of polished off the surface. So that actually feels really nice now. Just for comparison, this is one that I have not run backwards and forwards, and I want to see if I'm just going to put it partly on and do the same exercise. I think I can feel the difference. It's hard to tell. It does feel fairly smooth. All right, I'm going to, for whatever benefit it gives, I'm going to run this one backwards and forwards a couple of times as well. Oop. Came out. Oh, the rain is really coming down now. You may, if I walked over. Oh, is that the same nut you polished with? Ask Tinker. It is. Okay, so this one I did a slightly different technique. With this one, I was simply holding the nut and running it backwards and forwards. That time, what I did was, and you can see some blackening coming off on my fingertips. So with this one, what I did was, in order to make sure that both faces of the thread are cleaned up, as I'm driving the bolt into it like this, I'm holding the nut and pulling it this way, pulling it away from the direction that the thread is trying to drive it. And that means that it'll be loading up on one face of the thread. It'll be loading up on the face on this side. And then, so I'm pulling it away. Okay, and now I'll reverse it. And as it tries to drive the nut that way, I'm going to be pushing against the nut this way. So I'm pushing in towards the drill. And that loads the opposite face of the thread. So hopefully both sides of the thread have been polished by doing that. Yeah, so it will have polished the nut as well. Ooh, it does feel silky. Yeah, I think it'll do for my purposes. Okay. What I have not received is authorization to release that photo. Maybe the one person with the authority to allow its release is not watching. I hope not. Okay, only one face of thread will be working in RepRapMicron due to anti-backlash mechanism, says Paul. You are absolutely right. Yes, you are right. Yes. For those following the instructions at home. Sorry, I'm just back in front of my computer here and looking at the chat and at the... I'm here. Looking at the chat and looking at the instructions. So Vic posted these instructions again. Assembly. Note, coupling is held by a static face of the clamp. Okay, drive the bottom flat with maze-like patterning into the NEMA shaft until the shaft contacts the flat shelf inside the coupling's cavity. And the exact diameter of a shaft. Okay, static face of the clamp. Yeah, so I need to put, well, one of them I've already done. Have I done, oh, okay. That's the reason that I was reprinting. So the reason that I was doing this is that I wasn't sure quite how the state of the couplings that I've got, because one of them is glued in place, and I was thinking maybe I want to replace the one with the threaded rod in it, and so I just printed out another set to be on the safe side. So I've got some David says rephoto. Very disappointing, John. Very disappointing. Yeah. There may be. Hang on. I'm gonna take this off the screen so that I can open a chat that I do not want to be seen. Just in case it opened in the wrong window, and it did. So it's a good thing that I did not open that. Okay, we shall see. The photo may receive authorization for release, but I do still want to hear from Jeremy about when this photo was taken. Oh, because I was so skinny. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? There, okay. Oh, Jax Tech is here as well. Hello, Jax Tech. Now, where we are is... I've got to get back to instructions. Oh, Jax Tech, he's been in the chat. 1989 or 1990, he said. Yes, okay, I missed that bit. Ooh, Stephen said, John missed that he was emailed another photo that's more suitable for the internet's consumption. Oh, and also John says, the availability of a stepper motor and judicious use of some sort of automation could make that process a little easier. It could. All right, I've got to check email. Let's see. Email to see if there is another follow-up photo. This is like being drip-fed blackmail material. Oh, okay. Bonus. Oh, okay. That is certainly another photo. All right. I'm tempted to release this photo. Hang on. It needs a bit of de-warping and some crop. All right. Yeah, this photo does not really show all that much, but it gives you some little concept of the deal. So I'm going to take this off here, take this up here, full frame it. Yeah, it doesn't show much, so I can get away with this one. All right, here we go. A rock climbing trip sometime around 1989-ish, so I would have been about 19, and yes, that is me wearing like leopard skin lycra, partway up a rock. Yeah, a great angle to catch me at. But yes, you can see, look at all that hair. I had a lot of hair back then. Yes, that is definitely more suitable for internet consumption than the other photo, which is much more up close. And yeah. Okay. Jeremy, thank you. Thank you for ruining my memory of my I'm going to call it late childhood. I'm in my late childhood now. I've graduated from late childhood to late childhood. Jess says, messing with you, Jono, is somewhat hilarious. Yeah. Crispian says, what climb is that? I have no idea. Oh, and Tinker says, we have no way to prove that's actually John. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have no way of proving that's me. If you saw the other photo, which was the more direct one where I'm not actually on a climb, I am just standing there. Yeah, Freddie Mercury, the rock star. Yeah, it very much is that sort of vibe. Life choices for the win. Okay. So where are we? I'm just getting things back into view. View for me, not view for you. Yeah, apparently authorization is not going to be forthcoming on the release of the other photo. Now, I have these parts. Oh, yes, I have other parts to show you. Going to view the overhead. Back to view the overhead. I also have this. Yeah, things have been arriving. I've been finally ordering things that I should have ordered a long time ago. This is it? I better check. UV LED strip. Yeah, so this is 395 to 405 nanometer black light, 5 volt. If I plug this, yes, and good, confirming. Just confirming that it really is. If you look at this, you'll see that every individual LED has its own current limiting resistor and has a cut point in between every single LED. This is exactly what I want, because what we need is a single LED to go into this. So this is part of the platform. You can see here that there are little rebates on either end. There is a channel here. It's a bit hard to see because of lack of contrast on camera. There is a channel here where the cable comes in. So the idea is that there is a bit of UV strip that mounts in there, and magnets go in here. Oh yes, and the magnets have arrived as well. Oh, I can reach up and grab them. They're right here. I should check the size. What? They're the right width. Did I get magnets that are the wrong length? Well, I can glue them in the middle anyway. So I have magnets here, which are intended to go into these rebates. And they should clip in. So you can see that there are little nubs sticking out from the sides. And I thought the magnets were meant to be the same length as the slot and the same thickness as the slot. I probably ordered the wrong magnets, or I received the wrong magnets. It's possible that I ordered the right ones, got the wrong ones. Where's the package? It's around. I can't be bothered pulling it out. However, these magnets are just for snapping the thing down on the top. So I think being slightly too short is not a problem. And I can just glue them in place there, and it should be okay. So I have magnets to go in there. I have UV LEDs to go in this cavity. I have 50mm bolt/screws, and I now have a total lack of excuses. No reason whatsoever that I can't just build this thing.
Back to the 3D printer with adjusted magnet slots.
Oh, with adjusted magnet slots? Yeah, that'd be possible. They could be adjusted. But I don't think it matters. They don't need to be super precision. They are just to allow retention of things on the staging plate. So as long as they are fixed in position and don't move, they should be fine. So if I put magnets in the center of the slot and just glue it in there, that will do the job nicely. And I need to cut a strip off. Oh, what I will do. Okay, I am not going to look at this okay, I'm going to put this on camera and I'm not going to look directly at it. I'm just going to plug it into a USB hub to see if it turns on. I just want to verify whether it powers up. Oh, yep, and you can see on camera that it is glowing, but it doesn't look very bright.
OCD, OCD. Faster to print spaces.
Faster to print spaces. See, you can see that it's turning on when I plug it into the USB hub. And the USB hub probably is not providing enough current to run this. It would probably take like an amp to run this at full illumination, but we know it works. So I can cut one off the end. I'll cut one off the far end because I just want to take one segment off this tape, and I don't want to have to cut this end where the USB lead comes into it. So I'll just cut a segment off the far end to put into the staging plate. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Where we are is needing to mount that into there. And push, push, and so if I read the instructions, I'd probably find some specific way that is meant to be done. Where's the other one? Oh, the other one is here. Okay, so I didn't actually need to print those extra. It looks like I'd already printed extras. All right, so without actually doing it properly, that is the end result of what we're looking for here, give or take. And then these can go into the loom bands. So these were donated by a significant character in the story of life who is not yet identified, but will be. And they are for, so these are loom bands, which are for the backlash compensation or backlash elimination. So these will stretch over the mechanism and hold it tight. So I'll probably need a few of those on. What else? Maybe I should do a little bit of assembly. That seems like a crazy radical idea. I'm going to move a few things out of the way. I've got a whole lot of stuff here. Whoop. Big plastic tub full of parts. That's one of the plastic tubs full of parts. Should get these. I got all these steppers.
Instructions say you insert the screw head after the screw is installed in the frame.
Yep, cool. Well, nothing I've done is irreversible yet. I've just stuck them in there to see if it all fits. So I'm just getting the NEMA 17 steppers out of the box because they are big and heavy, and if they slide around they could damage 3D printed parts. Now, let's do a little bit of assembly. What do we need? What do we need? Pieces, pieces, pieces. Okay. So this is a thing that we did on a previous stream, which was sticking the nuts into all of the points here where it needs to have mounting attachments. Ooh. Is that a limit? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just puzzling over the design. Move that out of the way. And where are we? Here. All right, so on this one I've used just the thin spacer. I think that is correct because of the shaft length on these. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the instructions to remind myself. And while I'm doing that, while I'm scrolling, I'm going to also have a quick drink. John following instructions, impossible. It is absolutely impossible. Oh, Crispian says, how are you going to get to the inner end of the reel? I'm going to unroll it all of it, all 5 meters. Oh, Grant says, my 25 by 10 by 3 magnets arrived. They are 24 by 9 by 2.5. Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe these are 9 millimeters wide, which is why they don't clip in properly. All right, momentary mutage. David said they shrunk in the post. Yeah. Shipping magnets is fraught. Mine arrived in this container. I'll show you. Here we go. Big block of foam, little cavity in the middle. So the idea is that the magnets are kept physically at a distance from anything that might bump up against the package. Which seems to be a fairly common way of shipping magnets. Because, yeah, shipping companies don't like magnets. They don't like magnets being near other packages. And they don't like strong magnets being near other packages. All right, part preparation. Select the most pristine M3 by 50 screw available. Use a zinc-plated or a plain steel one. Avoid screws with a black finish and stainless steel. Panhead screws will be easier to shape. Okay. And Crispian says, probably so they don't stick to the sorting mechanism. Jack Sex said they jam up the conveyors. Good. Good one, John. Classic dad joke. Except that the say didn't work because it needed a slash in front of it. Yeah, John says, wasn't Onassis a shipping magnet? Yes. Yes. You're talking about Jackie's husband, I believe, if we are thinking of the same Onassis. Onassis, the shipping magnet. The 50mm screw will be used for the drive screw. It is very important that the screw thread is not bent, scuffed, scratched, spoiled, or mutilated in any way. Remove the tape and clean the thread. Okay, so this part I need to actually pay attention to because Vic has gone to the trouble of documenting this, and I don't think I've actually even read this part. All right. 3 fasteners. Select the pristine screws. All right, I have gone with exactly the wrong type, so I've gone with the black finish. Wrap the thread with a non-gummy soft tape and secure it in a drill chuck with the head sticking out. Run the drill and simultaneously file the side of the screw head. This procedure is much easier with the panhead screw. The objective is to reduce the diameter of the screw head to less than 5.2mm, slightly smaller than the width of an M3 nut from flat to flat. Be very careful not to damage the thread. If you damage it, pick another screw and start again. Etc. Remove the tape and clean the thread. Wind an M3 nut onto the screw to about 10mm from the head. Apply a small amount of thread locking adhesive to the thread adjacent to the head. Turn the nut all the way down and tighten. Okay, so I believe that what is being described there is a way of making the bolts sit into the couplings and be perpendicular because the length of the head it gets doubled up because there is a nut that's been run down onto it. David said, bit awkward if you order 10 magnets and get 10 magnates. Michael said, especially if you Google Aristotle Onassis and see what he looked like. I don't want to appear and shame anyone. I don't actually even remember what he looked like. But I assume that, yeah. Yes. So Vic says, correct on the head shaping in March. John's solution is easier. My solution? I don't think I have a solution. All right, so 5, we want to reduce the diameter of the screw head to less than 5.2 millimeters. Reload. Nope, can't be found. Okay. Let's do some inspectionizing. Now this is the one that I did not clean up, but I just want to zero the calipers. It is 5.5, 5.4, 5.5. Okay, so I think this is, because I have a history on this project of just floundering around, not doing anything properly. I need to actually learn from the master and follow the master's advice. Now, the depth of the hole in these couplings is 5.2 millimeters, and that should be enough for, if we look at this, the head of the bolt is 2.9, and we've got 5.2 of depth. So if I turn this down slightly with a file and then run a nut down to the end, that gives us a longer distance of the head. So when it gets inserted into here, it can self-align better. It'll end up being perpendicular to this face. Like, it needs to be directly coaxial with the shaft of the motor. So, what am I going to use? I believe I should have some non-gummy tape. I have some painter's tape. I need to buy more painter's tape. I got right to the end of a roll this week. Right here.
It'd be cool if you saw your comments bit. The screw heads I am using are only 2 millimeters high.
Ah, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if I saw your Vic's comments? Yes, that would be cool. It'd be nice if I actually paid attention. The teacher is trying to tell me the answers to the questions, and I'm sitting here stuffing up the exam. Now, where was this? Vic says, correct on the head shaping nut. John's solution is easier. Wedging the knurled cap screw in, that is. Ah, okay. I haven't tried it, but it sounds plausible. Yep. Now, okay, so Vic, just using this as an example, when I wedge this in, it does not go very far into the coupling. The top maybe 0.2, 0.3 of a millimeter, I can, like my fingernail is against it, is protruding from the top. So this head is slightly too thick to go properly into the coupling hole in here. So I think I do want to turn this down just very slightly so that it'll go further into the hole. On the other hand, that will remove the knurling. Conundrums. All right. So I now have layers of painter's tape on the thread to protect it, keep it safe. So now I can spin it. So now what I need is a file. Oh, Simon said you could warm up the machine screw before inserting it. Totally gnarly do, David. Yeah. Try just filing the first millimeter.
Filing the first or so of the head.
Yeah, maybe do it so that it's on a slight angle. Yeah, all right. I am going to walk away. I'm going to leave you with that view as I walk away out into the factory area. Oh, you'll probably hear the rain now. It's a lot louder out here. We're less insulated from the outside. And I'm just trying to find a file. There should be one right here. But the lights are off. I'm walking around in the dark in the factory. So if I turn the lights on, maybe I will actually be able to find things. Is there a file on this shelf? No. Is there a file in here? No. I know where the file should be. So what I should do is go and look where the file should be. That is the logical thing, isn't it? Why am I looking where the file should not be when I should look where the file should be? Then I'll have a better chance of finding it. It should be over here near the welder, because that is where it has been used. That is traditionally where it is commonly used. But I can't see it. Come on, file. There's an angle grinder there with a like a sanding abrasive disc in it. Something tells me that would be overkill. Now I should also, somewhere around, I have a little set of needle files, which would be pretty much ideal for this application. But I have looked for this set a couple of times recently and I have not been able to find it. It has ended up being misfiled somewhere in this big collection of stuff that I have. Maybe. What other abrasive options do I have? I don't know. What I need is an assistant. Someone who actually knows where stuff is and can go and grab things for me while I'm doing streams. Surely the file is in this area somewhere. It's got to be here. Because this is the place that filing is filed. But I can't see it. Nope. Nope. Maybe there will be no filing today. Oh, I wonder if my mini files are in the hand tools box. Let's check that. I have a little overflow hand tools box under here. All the things that don't deserve a permanent place on my bench, but that I need occasionally. Alright, what have I missed in the chat? There's bound to be a bunch of stuff. Ooh, there are some fun little things in here. Interesting tools. There's a razor saw. Razor saws are very good for model making. Not much use in this situation though. Ooh, and brand new pair of Lindstrom RX 8150s. And there is my old pair of Lindstrom RX 8150s. Nice. I'm so glad that I found a supplier for those. In fact, maybe what I should do, I'm going to put those on the bench. Okay, here is, yeah, it's a squirrel though, and I'm trying to stay on topic just slightly. My point being, the thing is though that the Lindstrom RX 8150s are my favourite micro bevel side cutters, and I spent literally several years looking for a source of these. This is the first pair that I bought, and they served me well for many years. And I just I couldn't find replacements for it until I eventually found a place in Poland that sells them and ships to Australia, like DHL shipping to Australia for $15. Ridiculous. So I have since bought 6 more pairs of the Lindstrom RX 8150s because I do not want to be in a situation again where I need them and I can't buy them. So this is the pair that has been on my bench for many years. It's done a crazy amount of service, and you can see the wear that's on it, and they are still in fantastic shape. The blades are sharp, they work very nicely, but they have now been put. This is, you can see the difference. This is one of the new pairs that I bought recently. This is the old pair, and you can see like the color of the blue, how faded this one is, and it's just got little nicks and things on it. It's in bad shape in comparison to the new one. So this is one of the new pairs that has replaced it. This is the pair that now lives on my bench in the Gridfinity thing, and this one has gone into the backup hand tools. This is a spare, brand new pair. So if anybody wants really nice micro bevel side cutters, I know a dude. I can hook you up, bro. I can tell you where. Got a dealer in Poland, and they'll ship to you. What? I don't know where the grinding stuff is. That's what it comes down to. I've got a set of needle files in like a little zip-up pouch thing that you open up, and it's got all the different sizes. That's what I've been looking for a while, and I have not been able to find it. That set of files is somewhere around the lab, and I just don't know where it is. And I've also got a couple of bigger files, like mill-blasted files, that are used for more like welding level scale fabrication, where you're cleaning off the edges of corners of stuff that you've ground, that you've cut with an angle grinder or whatever, where you want to take little daggy bits off welds. And I can't find that either. That I thought was sitting on top of the welder, but it is not. So, Jacksec says, TLDR, don't need to grind, you can probably just move the coupler in the same axis. Okay. Much mocking? Oh, Tinker says he's going to be embarrassed when he gets back and finds it on the bench. Yeah. All right, now that you've said that, I'm going to do a quick scan. Is it sitting right here on the bench? Can't see it. Ooh, there was a message. Something in Discord? Who is pinging me in Discord? My wrist buzzed. Stephen said he had to hide the files away after the bank job he did. Yes. Yeah. I needed those files to get through that that glass relocker. Ooh, you got to get through the glass without breaking it, or the relock mechanism trips. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this solution, which is this just being pushed into the coupling. It does seem really secure. And if I recall correctly, the force on these is always going to be in because of the anti-backlash mechanism, which is squeezing it closed. So it's not going to fall out of here. And it is quite secure. So I don't think I need to file the end. I think I'm going to just have these firmly seated into the coupling. If I push it in fairly hard, that's like it's supporting the motor. It's secure. It's not going to move, not going to fall out. Vic says, yes, it'll push down as hard as you like. Yep. Alrighty. Where are we? Where are we? Back to here. Now, alright, so we have discussed this, and we have discussed that I am failing to follow the instructions. Wind an M3 screw. Okay, so this is using the extra nut to help orient it into the cavity on the coupling. But I don't think I need that, because if I put this extra nut on, it's not going to have any contact with the coupling anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. The knurled end of the head is going to engage with the coupling very nicely. To make the two bearing nuts, fit the 3mm drill bit to the drill, hold an M3 nut in pliers or a vise and cleanly drill the thread out of the nut. If you have a 2.7mm bit, running it through first will make the 3mm bit less likely to bind. Okay, a little oil will help prevent the drill bit binding too. Clean away any fragments of oily swarf. These nuts will be used for the nut bars. Alright, so this. Oh, Tinker says, bummer, he didn't actually look at the Discord message. Oh, sorry, okay. Let's open Discord then. There was a notification. I saw the ding of the thing, but I don't actually have Discord open. All right, here we go. I have just opened Discord. What is it? Oh, oh, at least someone knows where they're. So this was a message from Tinker saying, "Want to borrow mine?" Yes, I do want to borrow yours. Can you just teleport them to me, please? That'd be great. Thanks. Okay, so bearing nuts. What I need to do is drill out three of the nuts, so that they can be bearings on the M3 bolt. All right, M3 nuts. These. I'm going to grab out some of the small body ones. I can tell by the different color. You probably have trouble being able to tell the difference looking at it there, but I will grab out. There are different finishes on these. There are several different finishes of nuts here in this container. I have grabbed 3 that are consistently the steel finish. It's not stainless steel.
6 nuts all up, 2 in each axis.
Ooh, 6 nuts all up. Thank you. And 5, 6. All right. So I need those bearing nuts. Oi, who's that? Who's that? Where's the chat? Oh, it's Pete. Are we there yet? Pete is asking if we are there, and the answer is we will never be there, Pete. Never. Sorry to disabuse you of the notion of completion. It's an illusion. Okay, so I need to drill these out to 3 millimeters so that they can be bearings on the shaft and hold it aligned. So I need 3 millimeter and I need to clamp it. Alrighty, I can do this, I can do this, I can do it, I think I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. Now the way I would prefer to do this is I have a machinist's vise and a drill press. That is probably how I would like to do it. But just for the sake of the exercise, I'm going to try drilling here on the bench in front of the camera. So I think I will still use the machinist vise. I've got some cutting fluid that's used that I use for CNC machining when it's cutting metal. So I'll put a drop of that on it, and I will check out my my nut situation. It is very tempting to put that rock climbing photo up on screen. It's now that it's got into my head, I want to do it. You know, it takes a while to adjust to the idea of doing something like that. Taking something embarrassing from the past and now that I've got to the point of thinking, yeah, I could actually do that. I've now got to the other side of it and I want to. Right, I've got cutting fluid, I've got 3 millimeter drill bits, I have the machinist's vise. What else do I need? A bit of rag or something would be good. No, I've got some paper towel serviettes in there, so I can use that. And here we go. Machinist vise, 3 millimeter bits, cutting fluid. I think that is the complete list of ingredients required for this recipe. Vic says no 3 millimeter drill bits were harmed in this. Oh right, this could end badly. Yeah, I hope so. All right, now is this actually going to close up far enough? I'm not even sure that it will. I may have to use some other. Yeah.
Drill them on the bench. Here does the swarf go.
Where does this wharf go? It goes onto the bench. All right, so I can't do it. The way this machinist's vise works is that there is a little, if I can pick this up, there is a little rebate on the top of it. You can just see it there, so that you can sit things on that rebate and clamp it. But the thing is that the M3 nut is so small that even with the clamp fully closed, it's loose inside that rebate, which means if I'm going to use this clamp, I will need to do it. And that gives you automatic alignment. So it gives you indexing against that face. But if I do it like this, that should hold it. You can see that the clamp is twisted within the slides. So this might all end very, very badly. Hang on, I'm going to grab paper towel, have it handy, and put a little drop of cutting fluid into the nut. Up, there we go. Now I need a nice pristine 3 millimeter drill bit. I think these are all brand new. It's from a pack of 10. Got 4 left. And I'm going to run it in low speed mode. And what are the, okay, are we going to take odds on as soon as I put pressure onto this, the nut is going to drop out of the clamp? I think that's what's going to happen because I don't have it sitting on the little beveled edge. Ooh, what? That actually just went through like a hot knife through butter and went really, really smoothly. What?
At John Dashwib said, hold a square next to the drill for alignment.
Yeah, what I was doing was basically letting the existing hole guide it. That actually went shockingly smoothly, I think. Hopefully the end result is all right. We can chuck it under the microscope to see. But let's, as a test, I'm going to put this onto here. Yeah, it slides on it. There's a little bit of horizontal play, but not much. I'm curious to know what that thread looks like now that it's been drilled out to 3 millimeters. We can find out. We have the technology there, and focus. I'm going to switch to that view. So we have the microscopic. You can just see the residue. Like if you look, I'll see if I can get the focus a bit better. About there. You can see on the inside there are little horizontal lines or spiral lines. Those are the bottoms of the threads that have been drilled out. Oops. You can see on that side, it's clear there because of the angle of the light. So the majority of the thread has been drilled out. There is just a tiny amount remaining, which is the bottom of, you can see a bit of the cutting fluid there, which is the bottom of the thread. So, and that's been drilled out to 3 millimeters. So I think that is what we need. That is adequate. Should do the job, I believe. All right. In that case, I've just got to do the same thing 5 more times. Can't believe it worked. All right, I'm putting the call out there. We are running out of time. If the person, and she should know who she is, who has the remaining authority to say the photo should be released, sends me any kind of indication in the affirmative, I will do it by the end of the stream, if the confirmation comes through by the end of the stream. So, let's just do these other ones. I will, oh come on, I'm trying to get just a drip of the cutting fluid into it.
John Dashwib said, happy Star Wars Day for tomorrow.
Star Wars Day for tomorrow. Okay, another one. I'm going to just rip through these now because there are 5 of them and I want to get them done. I'm going to not put cutting fluid into this one because there should already be cutting fluid on. Oh, what am I doing? It's not even in field of view. There should be cutting fluid already on the drill bit. And you'll notice I'm running the drill bit very slowly. So I'm not letting it get hot. And this is a brand new, very sharp drill bit. So it really doesn't take much force. So I've got it in slow mode on the drill and I'm only running it at like that sort of speed. And that is enough for it to go through and drill out the thread. So I want to keep I want to keep this nice. There we go. 2 more. I'm trying to align it so that it is horizontal, so that when I come in vertically, this will be directly through the hole. One more. Okay, while I'm here, while I've got you here, today is Sunday the 3rd of May. Next Sunday, by the normal schedule, would be a barbecue day. However, it is also Mother's Day. So, the decision has been made that the barbecue that would be on this coming Sunday is being delayed by 1 week, and it will be on the next Sunday. So it is Sunday the 17th, I believe, will be the next barbecue. So if anyone was thinking of coming along next Sunday, please don't, because I'm not going to be sticking around because I am doing other things in the afternoon. But definitely do please come the following Sunday. What am I doing? Oh, okay. I've finished with the machinist vise, finished with the drill. I will clean these up, get the little shardy bits of swarf off them, make them nice and clean, get the cutting compound off them. All right, gotta wait. Don't want to mix it up with one that still has its thread intact. And then I want to get rid of the little bits of swarf that are on the bench. Okay, so now I should have 6 clean drilled out nuts, which can be the bearings. All right. Oh, don't need the cutting compound either. Next step, please. What is happening next? Okay, so I'm just reading back through the chat. Look under the vise, the threads are there now, yeah. Okay, so Vic is happy with the way it looks. Wednesday's Revenge of the 6th, yeah. The fun comes when you've made a bunch of these and pick one up by accident instead of an intact nut. Yeah, why does it just slide onto the bolt? 3, okay, so this is in relation to the size of the hole. This is a good question because when I was putting it on, it was sort of moving a little bit on the nut, on the bolt. John said, I think there would be too much play as a bearing then. Vic says, 3mm hole minimises wiggle. There is an allowance for lateral movement which is taken up by the Frame Trio collection of flexures. Mostly they stop the screws from eating away the 3D printed parts. Yep. Yes. Good. So, back to here. All right, I've made the bearing nuts. Yay! Preparing limit switch wires. Take the limit switch wires you'll be using on the CNC controller for both axes. Bare ends approximately 10mm. Stainless steel or nichrome wire placed alongside a switch wire so the ends are flush. Bend the switch wire and etc. at 45. Twist, twist, twist. It's important that both wires twist rather than one just wraps around the other. Fold the twist down. Heat shrink over the twist to secure it to the insulated wire. Okay, now I assume the reason for doing this is the difficulty of soldering to the stainless steel wire and stainless steel or nichrome wire, and maybe the flex involved. So you don't necessarily want a point of potential breakage where there is a soldered joint. So this is attaching the stainless steel wire to a regular stranded flex wire in a way that doesn't use any soldering and keeps it all nice and strong. Okay, repeat for the switch wire. Okay, so this, where is it? Rather than just one wraps around the other. Okay, this part is interesting because I've noticed this happen. If you have two pieces of wire and they are similar, so you get two bits of wire and you lay them side by side and then you twist them, what happens is that both of them will twist. They end up as an interlocking, like a pair of interlocking spirals. However, what really commonly happens is, say you've got a single solid lead, like a resistor. Say you've got just a regular through-hole resistor with a steel lead sticking off. It's a single core lead, and you get some stranded wire and you try to twist the two together. What happens is that the resistor lead stays straight and the multi-strand wire just sort of loops around it. So you end up with a straight thing in the center and then the loop, and it just slides off easily. They don't really bind together properly. So the point that Vic is making here is that when you are twisting a piece of, like a regular piece of hookup wire, multi-strand wire, with a more solid piece of wire, the tendency will be that they will not form two interlocking spirals. One will simply wrap around the other. And so you have to twist them in a way that will force that, that to happen. Vic says, yeah, soldering stainless steel or nichrome is kind of hard. Heat shrink stops it coming undone and gives strain relief. And Evil D says, solder joints also suck in situations where there is movement. Exactly, they form a failure point, which is one of the reasons that when you are making a lot of connectors, if a connector has a crimp terminal in it, the idea is that you are meant to crimp it, not solder it, because soldering makes the joint brittle. And then if there is movement of the cable on the connector, over time it'll fail. The solder will make the joint fail and the wire can break off. So this is the same sort of situation. So if this is moving a little bit over time, these cables could be moving slightly because the whole machine is going to be moving. Then you might end up with failures right at the joint if it's soldered. Lead is a lubricant. Says Jack Steck. Can be in certain situations. Oh, it'll lubricate your IQ points right out of your brain. That's probably why I have such mental problems. Too much exposure to lead over my lifetime. Okay, something I'm interested in. This is definitely a squirrel. I am going to ask this question. Is it safe to carry lead diving weights in your hands? Because I want to... Okay, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back in just a second because I want to show you something. Now, as we're working in electronics, people are very worried about lead exposure. And so, you know, people will not want to touch solder. For example, they'll treat it like if they touch it, they're going to die. And for some reason, it just didn't really cross my mind that in a...
At Grandmeisel said, yes, but wash your hands before you eat or smoke.
Yep. Yeah, don't smoke after handling lead, because if you do, it could be bad. And then I realized diving weights. Like, I just carry these things around. this is a lump of lead. It is this one, how much is it? I don't remember how much that one weighs. A couple of kilos, I think. One, or is it two? I don't know. However much that weighs. That is just a lump of lead. And that particular type goes onto a weight belt. The reason I have it loose is that I just had it shoved into one of the trim pockets on my BCD. This is one of the weight pockets out of my BCD. If I open it up, it's just a lump of lead. Like, and if you go into a dive shop or something, or you go on any dive trip, people are just passing this stuff around like, oh yeah, you need some weight. Here, have this. And nobody bats an eyelid. Nobody.
You have to chew on your weights to really have a problem.
Yeah, nobody even thinks about it. I can't recall ever in the context of diving people thinking about lead exposure. But maybe, yeah. Yeah, you walk into a dive shop, there will be, typically on the floor, there will just be stacks of big chunks of lead dive weights. And you just go over and grab a few and take them up to the counter and buy them. And then take them home with you. While lead is toxic and cumulative, simple handling of solid lead weights does not typically cause immediate harm to recreational divers. However, there are significant long-term risks if hygiene is neglected or if you are a professional who handles lead frequently. Yeah, fair enough. Lead dust and corrosion, yeah. Older uncoated weights, yeah. Soft weights, lead shot in mesh bags can also leak. Yep. So one thing that I've seen is a lot of modern weights are plastic coated. They will be the same shape as what I just showed you. It'll essentially be like the big lump of lead, but it's just got a plastic coating over it. But that is actually surprisingly infrequent. Most of the time, it is just big lumps of lead. People are carrying them around. So, yeah. Where are we up to? Ooh, what was that? Okay, hang on. I just got a... Ooh, okay. I got a notification. The person with the authority to release the photo has said the conditions should be, this is for releasing the photo, nerd brag style, which is everyone should share photos from different stages of their lives of interesting things that they've done, including wearing leopard skin lycra pants. Okay. I don't think people are prepared for that just yet. So,
At Tinker001 said, what really annoys me is people that panic over lead fumes from soldering. If you're vaporizing the lead, you have bigger problems.
that is true, yes. What is vaporization point of lead? Is 1,749 degrees, which it turns into vapor. Yeah, so if you are heating your solder to in excess of 1,500 degrees, then maybe you will have a problem with lead vapor. But up until that point, not so much. Yeah, lead fumes and dust. Dust is the issue. Lead used to be used as a sweetener. Sweetener? I don't even know what to do with that as a sweetener. All right, so back to the photo release requirements. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I want people to prepare photos of things in their lives, different photos from different stages of their lives of interesting things that they've done. And next week, I will release the photo and the photo. And if anybody else has photos that they can share, then, and they are available somewhere, you can send them to me in Discord. It's probably a good way of doing it. Or if they are online somewhere, you can send a link. So, yes. Okay. Of course, there is no obligation on anybody to do any of this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be photos that show you. It can be oh yeah, Grandy's pointing something out. I'll get to that in a second. They can be of things that you've done, but yeah, let's do an interesting photo sharing time. That could be next week. Okay, so Grant pointed out. So it says here lead has a boiling point of 1749 Celsius, at which it turns into a vapor. The reason I said above 1500 is that yes, it is more complicated than that, as Grant pointed out. Yes, but vaporization is more complex. There is a vapor pressure of lead at any temperature in an equilibrium state. The lower the temperature, the lower the vapor pressure. Yes, that is right. And that is why there will be some emissions at a lower temperature. It's not as if it gets to exactly 1749 C and then all of a sudden vapor when there was none before. But yes. Fume formation. Significant vaporization and oxidation can occur at much lower temperatures than the boiling point, with hazard starting at around 482 C. Oh, interesting. So this is assuming that we all 100% trust the AI overview on matters of personal safety. But it seems plausible without actually fact-checking the AI. 482 C is a point at which significant vaporization can occur. Yeah, and that is heading towards the ballpark of typical soldering temperatures, which are in the few hundreds of degrees. Evil D said, what is the partial pressure of lead at STP? And Jacksik pointed out, also if you amalgamate it, the vapor temperature can drop. Yep. Ooh, lead acetate, sugar of lead. Romans loved it. People wised up thereafter. Lead acetate, sugar of lead. How to make your food taste good. No, let's not. Let's not do donuts dusted with lead acetate, please. I do not want to see that in the local 7-Eleven. What are we up to? Where we're up to is after 12 o'clock, but still, all I've done is drill out a couple of nuts. There's been like 30 seconds of work done on this stream. Okay, couplings, screwing those together. Now, one thing that I need to do, I've done all of this for one of the axes. Ooh, okay. Lightly lubricate the drive screw. Interesting. So that is one of the, that is a drive nut. So that's not a bearing. And there is the completed assembly. Yes. Yes, yes.
It might be better than much of the food available in a 7-Eleven.
Maybe. Michael says, after 12, peak gets triggered. Yes. I think Pete was triggered before the stream started today. Yeah, so this is the place where the loom bands are going to go. You can see the coloured rubber bands on there. I'm going to use the loom bands that I have just here. Ooh, I see that. I see your hemostats. Vic, I see what you did there. So these look like surgical hemostats that are being used as little, as little pairs of pliers, using a pair of fine pliers or even 5.5mm
Pete
spanners.
was born triggered.
When they are successfully tightened, it should be possible to rotate the drive screw back and forth by turning only the lower nut. If this causes the lower nut to come undone, the nuts were not tightened together sufficiently. Okay. Those things, that thing. Okay. Now, can I do more assembly without these parts being prepared? I think I can. I'm going to skip that part, come back to it. Got this, got that. That is done. And I can do this for the other two. Okay. Just to make a little bit more progress, I'm just going to screw the brackets onto the other two drive motors. Those are done, those are done. Those are for hooking the bands. Neat. And then that goes through. Okay. Yeah, I can actually do most of that. Grant says, according to Wikipedia, the vapor pressure of lead at 978 Kelvin is 1 Pascal. So it will be much, much lower at standard temperature. Pressure is not relevant. Yeah, Vic says the switch wires get bolted onto the frames to last.
Just to show progress, John is gonna screw around a bit.
Yeah, that's the comment that I just chuckled at. Bring on the dad jokes. All right, the coupling is held by the static face of the clamp. Motor with coupling, all of that, all of that. I've got to remind myself what length bolts I needed for this. Add any necessary spaces. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. What length bolts did I use on this one? I've got to switch back to this view. All right, I'm going to take one of these out because I want to see what length bolt I used so that I can grab the same one. What length is that, pray tell? It is an 18mm. Okay, so I need some more 18s. 18. What happened to, is it 18? Yeah. So why don't I have more silver 18s? Where did they come from? I don't know. It doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to chuck this one back in. Surely I didn't cut these down from something.
At John Dashwood,
oh, I think I did.
the squirrel, stayed to the nut, diddled to the screws.
Good one, John. Yeah. I know why. It's because I just bought these. I was short of 18mm M3s and I bought some more. So now what I need to do is bolt together these. So I want that one. And on all of these, it looks like, just based on Vic's pictures, on all of these, it looks like, wondering if I should deburr that, but it doesn't actually matter as long as that goes over the collar. There we go. It looks like the wires come out on the left side of the motor for each of these installations. So that's what I'm going to do. To copy my hero. Here we go. Need some of these. What's going on there? Is there a dodgy one underneath? Yeah, get rid of that one. Get rid of that washer. Get some cleaner ones. Nice shiny washers. So what have we got? 6, 7, 8. All right, 8 washers. There are many things about this. So the last time I actually saw one of these assembled was in Canberra, in Tracking Station Canberra, end of January, when Vic brought his RepRapMicron along to Everything Open. And since then the structure has changed dramatically. So I don't really have a great mental model of the overall structure of how this fits together in the context of things like cable management. The question of when I'm bolting these on, for example, what direction should the cable go? In Vic's pictures, the cables come out to the left, like this. And so I'm just following that, and hopefully that'll be fine. And also I'm using a single spacer. I'm wondering if I should use no spacer. Let's try with this one. This is the thin spacer. Let's try with this one with no spacer. Yeah, I think it goes on with no spacer because the base of, I think the guide here is supposed to be the bottom of this coupling should align approximately with the face of the bracket. And these stepper motors that I've got have shorter shafts on them than the original ones I had. So if this goes straight into the bracket like that with no spacer, the bottom of the coupling ends up pretty much aligned with the base of the bracket. So I think that is the distance that it needs to be, which means I need to drop...
You may as well make all of your comments via TTS.
Yes, where is it? The optimal stepper wire arrangement is not yet determined. Okay. And Tinker says, Vic, you may as well make all of your comments via TTS. Yeah, that's the only way that I'm going to notice them. So I need to drop to probably 14 millimeter. I've got 15s here. I don't have 14s. I've got 12s and 15s. I wonder if 15 is going to be too long. I will try attaching this stepper with 15s, and we'll see if it bottoms out in the hole in the stepper. It does, so I need to go shorter. But what I'm not sure about is whether 12s will be long enough.
There is a picture showing the coupling level alignment.
Oh, okay. Picture showing coupling level alignment. I will check that out. Let's see where that comes up. Coupling level alignment. Where is the picture on this page? Well, there is this one. That's what I've been judging it by. Is that the picture? Oops, where is it? That one. With this one, it is slightly recessed into the hole. Yeah, I was judging it by this photo, which shows that it is just barely going into the hole in the mounting bracket. There is a bit of shaft in the middle there. So that is kind of what I achieve with these. Yeah, that is kind of what I achieve with this, with no spacer on it. You can see, looking straight on there, the coupling is just slightly protruding into the hole. It's not down inside the hole like that. It's just almost flush with it. So I think that's about right. All right, let's try 12 millimeter and see if these will reach. Will they? Oh, they're only going to have like 2 turns of thread. I think I'm going to have to do it without the, if I do it without the washer, it'll just reach. Ideally, I would use 14 millimeter bolts for this. But I think the 12s will do. Oh yeah, they do get a few turns in. The thread does seem to go in, but I will do it without the washers just to give it the maximum possible bite into the thread in the motor, because otherwise it's only just going to be going into it. And just sort of bed these down a bit, which means that it doesn't have the surface area under the bolt head to push against the 3D print face here, but I think it's okay. That is very strong. That'll be fine. So I think what I need to do, you can see on this one.
Any 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter spaces?
No, I didn't. I only printed the 4 and whatever the thicker size is. You want it slightly sunk in. There were a couple of millimeters of wiggle room. Okay. So I kind of need it in between these two sizes. The blue one you can see has no spacer, just the stepper directly onto the bracket. The green one has a 4 millimeter spacer. The difference is that the green one is slightly recessed. It is more recessed, and I think recessed too much into the bracket. The blue one...
At John Dashwib said, take the angle grinder to the 15s.
Yeah. The blue one, the bottom of that coupling is recessed maybe a millimeter below the face of the bracket. If we look at it edge on here, you can't see the bottom of the coupling because the coupling is actually another millimeter or so further down into the bracket. And that is the point at which it ends. So, both of these positions, well, this is the equivalent. Both of these positions, one is probably slightly too high, one is slightly too low. I am very tempted to print something like a 1 millimeter spacer. I think I'm going to do that, just to get it.
You don't want more than 14 millimeters sticking out.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Don't want more than 14 millimeters sticking out. That is an excellent metric. Let's see what is sticking out here. 14.4. Okay, so 14.4 is sticking out when I don't use a spacer. And what about when I do use the large spacer? 10.6. Yeah, well, that makes sense. It's a 4 millimeter spacer. So I think what I want to do is add, well, maybe a 2 millimeter spacer, because this is 14.57. I mean, this is not super scientific here. I'm just 14.3. Yeah, so it's a bit over 14. Ideally, I want to take that back to like 13 or 12.5, I guess. So a 1.5 to 2 millimeter spacer would put it spot on. Oh, yeah, okay. Print a bunch of 1 millimeter spacers, use 2 if needed, says Tinker. Yeah, good point.
One of mine sticks out 14.5 millimeters, and that is a bit too close.
Okay,
Print a
14.5.
bunch of 1 millimeter spacers. Use 2 if needed.
Yeah, okay. 14.5 is too much. Let's get this underway. We can do this. I can kick this print off at least. Where am I? Where am I? What am I looking for? Okay, I want to find this. I'm just going to open some things and then I'll bring it up on screen. RepRapMicron. RepRapMicron. There. I'm finding my STLs that were generated previously. Mouse picker parts, mouse picker.
My lowest one sticks out 10.6 millimeters.
10.6. Okay. So what I'm bracketing is between 10.6 and 14 is my target. Good to know. Awesome. Okay. Now, where is RepRapMicron? All right, I'm just going to head to Bamboo Studio and where is it? Storage. I'll find when I was printing those parts and then maybe do a split. Why is it not showing a preview for those parts? It's not a picker, parallelogram, spool holder, flex shell linear coupling, complementary. Is it this? Let's see what this does. Oh no, that's different. That's not what I want to print. Flex shell linear coupling, what's that? Nope. That is the same thing. What about this? Oh. No. Okay. That method was not working. All right, what I am going to do is go to OpenSCAD. That's what I want, isn't it? And I'm going to generate the mouse parallelogram axis driver. I think that's what I want. Open. I believe that is what I want. So what I want to do is grab out that piece. So maybe this is a dodgy way of doing it, but this is the way I'm doing it. What I'm going to do is do the render on that collection of parts as it stands. Rendering. Then I'm going to chuck the STL into Bamboo Studio, split it, delete all the other parts, and then Z-axis scale that one. Why is it taking so long to render? This should have been well done by now. It says rendering polygon mesh using Seagull. Seagull? Fixing. Why? Why is this not working? Can I do a... Okay, I'm going to close that. Quit. Do that again. Open SCAD. Parallelogram. Open. Okay, what if I do... I clicked on that close thing and now I don't know how to get it back. View. Show tab bar. Is that it? No. I did
Do
not.
F5, then right-click on the part. You will get a pop-up of where the part is in the source.
Ah. F5. I don't have function keys. What is the equivalent of F5? Preview. Okay. Preview and
You
click
actually
in the
missed
part.
the render button.
Oh, did I? Now what I'm trying to do is get back the that left-hand view. It'll be the source, won't it? Where is zoom? Where is the source? Design. Display AST. Is that it? I don't know. What is AST? I don't know what AST stands for. Ooh. Window. Okay, I'm going to say display AST just to see what happens. Oh, okay. AST dump. Not what I wanted. Editor. Yes, there we go. Okay, so now we've got the source back again. So difference. I can't select that thing. All right, now where is preview? Is this the preview? Yes, click on preview. Total rendering time. I can't select it. I can't select a particular thing. Whole difference module, I don't know. All right, can I do render? If I click on STL now, it's going to complain because it hasn't been rendered. Yeah, nothing to export. Try rendering first. All right, render. Go the render. Again, this is the bit where it stopped before. Well, it didn't stop, but it sat here and never actually gave me an output. It says rendering polygon mesh using Seagull. And there's nothing. Unless it's like out of field of view. No, it should be right there. Still rendering, still rendering. Normally only takes a couple of seconds. Why? Okay, I'm going to quit. Open, no, I'm going to, what am I going to do? Okay, I'll quit OpenSCAD because I don't know any other way to do this. Open it again, go to open, and then I'm going to come back from here, RepRapMicron, and mouse, where is it? Access driver, mouse access driver. I think that's where it is. And is that the access driver? It is the out-of-date one, but it has
Progress
that
bar
spacer.
was still moving when you gave up.
Oh, okay. So my computer was just being super slow. Yeah, that spacer should be the same, I think. Okay, let's do render on this. Rendering. Oh yeah, I see. Down the bottom, the progress bar down here. It's just taking a really, really long time. I don't remember it taking this long when I've done it in the past, which is why I assumed that it was dead. I'll move it down so you can see the progress bar. Yeah, progress bar has got to the end. Ah, there we go. Ba-ching! Okay, so if I print this and scale it down to 1mm thickness, STL. No, what I'm going to do is go back to, where is open? What does that mean? It's a document with a star in it. New file, okay. Open file. Let's go open. And where is it in Pika? Pika probe? No. Pika XY? What is that? Ah, okay. So these are being brought in from some other document. This is the preview that includes everything. Sheet number prints all the other bits. 0 is visualization, 1 is the table, 2 is the other bits. So if I preview that, it's doing that. Yeah, okay, so that is not the document that I want. Open. Must be still in the mouse section. Am I looking at really out-of-date stuff here? Maybe? Oh, there we go. Parallelogram driver. There it is. Yes. This is better. All right. So I'm going to hit render on that. And then I'm going to be patient and let it get to the end of its render. And then split it and send the spacer to the printer in 1mm form. Stephen says, eventually John is going to realize he is hungry and it's time for lunch. Maybe. I may realize that. What is the time? 12:34. I am hungry and it is time for lunch. You are correct. Progress bar is getting close to the end. what I'm going to do is just finish this. I'm going to dump the STL, split it, Z-scale it, and send it to the printer so that at least that stuff will be underway. All right, so I need to aim, my target ideally should be around 12-ish millimeters. So I think I'm going to go for a 2 millimeter thickness. Yes, STL. And now I'm going to stick that in Dropbox, 3D printing. Oh, seeing that reminds me. Okay, there I am going to end with something slightly different.
Print a bunch.
Print a bunch. Yeah. What am I doing? RepRapMicron. Where is it? RepRapMicron. Parallelogram access driver. Oh, it was already there as a 3MF. Then I should have just come to here and gone open. Open project. Current project. No, I do not want to save. Open project. All right, I'm going to end with showing you photos of my childhood home, which is now on the market for sale. So if anybody wants to buy it, please buy it. Mentor, where are my X1C? I'm just going to send this to the printer first. RepRapMicron. That. Okay. That. So, where is it? That is the, all right, let's split to parts, we'll do, oi, why didn't it split? How about I do split to objects? Okay, that's better. So I can get rid of all of these things now. Oh, and it's left behind the little supports. I don't think you can do an area selection. Yeah, you can't, which is one of the slightly annoying things about doing this sort of thing in Studio. I could do it off the object, like the entity list on the left, but I am going to do it just the dodgy manual way. It's not that many. Delete all of the little support things. Okay, now this is currently 4 millimeters thick and I want it to be 2. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to scale it. So where am I going to scale it? Where is scale? Where is the scale thingy? Or I could do a cut. I could just split it at the 2 millimeter thickness. Where is scale? 3 page. There, scale. Okay, and not uniform scale. And on the Z axis, I want it to be 50%. 50E, which makes it 2 millimeters. Yes, very good. And let's sync the filament info. Yeah, overwrite, do it, and I want to change it to...
Is there a way to duplicate here?
Oh yeah, there is, I can clone. But I want to print it, oh, I don't have blue loaded. I do have yellow loaded though. But I want to print them in the different colors. One of them needs to be yellow, so I'm going to print one in yellow, and then I'm going to load some other filaments to print in blue and green to match the other axes. What do we got? Standard. Standard will do. It doesn't have to be strong or anything. It could even just be draft. Let's do that one. What am I saying? 17 minutes. So 7 minutes prepare, 10 minutes print. Go print that plate, please. Yeah, and then after the stream, I'm going to throw other filaments into the AMS, and I'll tell it to print one in blue and one in green. But this gets it underway. Okay, so this next segment is called Regrets, John Hasm. Okay. This very much falls into the category of doxing, but it's kind of not doxing because it is already public knowledge to some extent. The doxing part here is going to be associating myself with this very specific address. So, yes, here we go. The home that I grew up in through my...
ID still go with printing 2 or 3 1mm spaces instead of a single 2mm one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just to give a bit of variation. Yeah, I could print some 1mm ones as well. The home that I spent my teen years and a reasonable number of my adult years in as well is now on the market after our family has owned it for more than 100 years. Because the situation is that it's a very big house. I'll show it to you. Went on the market on Thursday. It's a very big house, and my mum is living there, and she is not so mobile anymore. It's really just not suitable. It's not a suitable place for someone who can't physically take care of it. So it is being sold. So I'll show you some pictures. The pictures are creative. They kind of play it up. That's the front door, and you can see the big windows here. So this is the house where I really got interested in home automation back in my early teen years, and I messed around with this house and did a couple of things. Not anything radical. I did things like I had a whole bunch of early Macintoshes. I had Mac 512Ks and Mac Pluses that had been they'd been bought by a school and then they didn't want them anymore, and I got them super cheap. So I ended up screwing. This is going to be hard to explain, but basically, if you think of
Lots
the shape,
of little things.
Yeah, the shape of a Mac, like the classic Mac Plus. What I did was I cut out a hole in the wall. Imagine a wall which is masonite, so it's only 5mm thick or so, 6mm thick. I cut out a hole which matched the shape of the screen of the Mac, mounted the Mac behind the hole, and then screwed through the wall into the faceplate of the Mac, so it was attached to the wall. And mounted the keyboard on the wall, and I made Apple Talk. Ooh, oh, well, that's a stuff up. Hang on, I've just got to go and rescue the printer from itself. Pause. No, I don't have to rescue it from itself. I have to rescue it from me being stupid, because I totally forgot to grab the other couplings off the bed, and it got angry at me. So now I can resume. Yeah, I had printed the extra couplings earlier and left them sitting on the bed. Then I sent the print job to print that spacer plate, and the printer got angry. So I've just moved them out of the way. And now it is running its LiDAR thing and doing its checks. Yeah, so, and then I made Apple Talk, Local Talk, whatever,
The Mac
the
in
old...
the wall was a very sci-fi look.
Yeah. Yes. Crispian says, the Mac in the wall was a very sci-fi look. Yeah, there are a few people in the chat right now who knew me way back then in that sort of era. And yeah, I had so many old Macs back then because I got a bulk lot from a school. And I also bought a few secondhand from a dealer in the garden. When we moved into the place, this was a badminton court, so all flat and level. There were posts on both sides, and so a badminton net could go across it. And so it's like, how big is it? I don't know. It's a pretty big area anyway, where that fountain is. That fountain is huge. It's a little bit hard to tell from looking at it just from this photo, but that is very high up in the air. Yeah, and that is a drone shot looking straight down at the fountain from the top. So this is the room just inside the front door that we saw from the initial shot. So these windows on the right are the big glass windows that you could see looking towards the front door, and the front door is just to the right of the edge of this photo. So this floor, when we moved in, to give you some idea, this entire room, the floor was bare floorboards. They like just raw, untreated floorboards. The walls were made of masonite. It was very much a DIY sort of situation by my mum's uncle, who was the one who did most of that work on the house. The ceiling was Hessian sacks. So the frame, the ceiling frame, ceiling frame, and then corrugated iron on top, and underneath he just got Hessian and nailed it up to provide some visual things so you couldn't see the underside of the corrugated iron. That's how crude this was. Oh, and also there was no hot water when we moved in. There was no gas hot water or electric hot water or anything. We had to boil water by stoking a fire under a big boiler, and that was how we got hot water for showers. So since then, all of the masonite was ripped off these walls, and this is now plaster. So it's all plasterboard that's been put in. The ceiling is all plasterboard. It's got the downlights in there. I think it had a couple of fluoro tubes when we moved in. I sanded this floor, so I hired like a big floor sander and an edging sander and sanded this entire floor off, and then I put down this clear polyurethane, a couple of coats of it, 3 coats, whatever it was, to try to get the floor into a good shape. So yeah, that's another view. So this is looking back towards the front door, you can see there. These are the windows that we could see. So the other photo from the outside was looking exactly back in the opposite direction, looking towards these windows. And you can see other windows on the left there, going out to a big outdoor area that we call the conservatory. So we just called this the big room because it's a big room. Kitchen, which is, needs to be gutted. Lounge room, a little office area off to the right there, open fireplace. Master bedroom, and this is the bathroom that originally was my sister's bedroom, and then so that door didn't exist when we moved in. There was a bunk bed or 2 bunk beds in this room, so this was a bedroom, I think, for sleeping either 3 or 4 people. It was like a bunkhouse type arrangement, and then it was gutted and turned into a bathroom, and that door was put in to turn it into like an ensuite bathroom. This is what we called the newspaper corner, because morning sun comes in here from the right and afternoon sun comes in here from the left.
Tinker001 said, windows like that would be frost covered half the year here.
Yep. And yeah, this was the newspaper corner, because you would sit in that corner, you get the sun coming in, sit and read a newspaper. And there was another couch under there, another couch across here. This is part of the library. You can see this big sliding wall on the right, this brown part. That entire wall slides. It's like think of a pocket door where the door slides into a wall cavity, except that instead of being a pocket door, it's meters long. It's an entire wall segment that slides into an enormous cavity that is behind a bookcase on the right-hand side. So this can either be a separate room like this as the library, and there were 2 beds in here as well. So at some point this house could sleep like 14 people in separate beds. Yeah, so that it can either be a separate room like that, or it can be, this wall can be opened up and it becomes a huge area going through to another living area. So this is part of the library, and you can see the left side here. This is the disappearing wall, and the entire wall here to the right behind the bookcase is an enormous cavity, and that whole wall slides into it. So that wall disappears. Behind that bookcase, that entire bookcase area is a huge cavity for the sliding wall. This is a second kitchen. This is the kitchen in one of the flats. Oh yeah, and you can see there the back of that same sliding wall. And that's with the sliding wall open. So this is a lounge room area in one of the flats that opens up through to the library, and then through that door into the newspaper corner. And this is the semi-outdoor area, conservatory. So from there are views out into the distance. It's fantastic. This is the downstairs flat. So this room right here is the room where my software business started. This was the office way back. At the time I started that business, my mum was living in England and I was living in I was living in the house. And so this room had desks and things in it. Oh, Henrik, 2 years. 2 years of membership. Thank you, Henrik. Yeah, so that's an external door into this lower flat, because there are 2 self-contained flats inside the house. And you can see outside there stairs going up to the upstairs flat, which is the one we were looking at just a moment ago. And then through that door is where my bedroom was for a while. So my childhood bedroom was in this room, and then it moved into the other room, and this became a work area. Crispian says, I used to head up the mountain at 4 a.m. and arrive in that room. Yeah, that's right. So this is the other room in that downstairs section. Now what was not there when Crispian would have come up here at 4 o'clock in the morning, come up there at 4 o'clock in the morning, is through that door there is another bathroom. That bathroom did not exist. That was all added after I had moved out. I was long gone from the house at that point. And my mum had some more renovations done, and they built an entire extra room in under the main part of the house. So that little bathroom you can see through there is underneath the newspaper corner, essentially. So it makes this downstairs area more of a self-contained living area, because it's got a bath and shower, toilet, basin and everything in through there. Oh yeah, and that's it. So that is the little bathroom for that downstairs flat. This is an overview of it. It looks like it's an apocalyptic photo where nature is reclaiming civilization, which is basically what's happening. The house is in danger of being reclaimed, and so it needs a bit of work. I think with a bit of work, this could be a spectacular house. It could just be, oh, that's the newspaper corner from the outside. It could just be incredible. But the circumstances are that we are not able to do that, and it's time for it to be sold. So, and that's the garage at the front, garage inside, view from the newspaper corner looking out over Sylvan Dam. You can see the water there in the distance, mountains beyond that. That's the lower driveway. There are 2 driveways because it's a big property. 2 driveways. This is the second garage.
Nature is better than civilization.
Yeah.
I remember being on that roof when the bushfire was approaching.
Oh yes. Yeah, Crispian has memories of that. I will back up a couple of photos in a second and tell you a little bit about that one. So this is the lower garage which is on the second driveway. This is just photos inside the garden, more inside the garden, more inside the garden. There used to be a glass house here. This whole area, this wall here, was all glass house. There was a glass wall that protruded up from here, but it was all disintegrating and became unsafe. So we dismantled that and cleaned it up. Henrik, salt. Ah, thank you, Henrik. Stephen said not connected to city gas. It is now. It wasn't back then. Yeah, there is city gas now. So probably the reason for that question is if we zoom all the way back, you see these gas bottles here. So these LPG bottles were the ones that we used to use for heating. And there are still a couple of heaters inside the downstairs flat that run off those bottles, but they are not necessary anymore. There is now gas, and there is gas, hot water. Yeah, so that's the overall plan of the place. So it's an acre of bush with surrounded by national park essentially. So this entire boundary from here, all along here, and all along the back there, that is all adjacent. That's all national park. So looking from the back of the house, you just look straight out into national park, which will never be built on. So and then this is the road down here. There's the there is the second garage. There's the bottom garage that we were just looking at. Here's the top garage with the main driveway going to it. Yeah, so that story, many, many years ago. Where is it? Okay, so coming back to here. I was there on the day, this was a week or so ago, that the photographer was there taking all of these pictures. And this is a drone shot, obviously. And so when this shot was taken, I was standing just off to the left, like out of frame, and the photographer was down below here out of frame so that we wouldn't show up in the picture. But if you just look at this and look at the house, you may not notice what's going on in the background. Look at this. Look at up here. See this little bit of haze up here, little bit of haze up here? That's actually smoke. On the day that the photographer came to do these photos, the CFA was doing a 47-acre burn-off directly behind the house in the national park area. So there were CFA trucks, there were fireys all along up there in that smoke area, and you just can't see them in this shot. I'm not sure if any of them have been edited out. It's possible that there was something visible in the background there and they've edited it out for the sake of these photos. But yeah, there were fire trucks just right on the other side of those trees when this photo was taken. They were there managing the burn off and making sure that it wasn't a problem. But back to Crispian's story about being on the roof. Okay, so back around, what year would it have been? It was, I think it was 1998. What year were those big fires? 98 or 99? 89? Was it 89? Maybe. I think there might have been a couple of incidents. So there was one particular time that there was not controlled burning off. There was an actual bushfire. It was one of the really big ones. I think it was one where a couple of people died not far away, like just over in Monbulk or somewhere. And oh yeah, Crispian says, I'm struggling, probably 99. Yeah, I think it was 1999. The bushfire got right up close to the back fence. it came up the hill from down the right-hand side down here, like where my cursor is. The hill drops off quite steeply there, like very steeply. So, and of course fire loves going uphill. So it was down the side of the mountain a bit, and it came zooming up the hill because of course the heat rises, everything rises, it just goes up the hill. And we are just over the ridge right here. That, what do you see in the distance there? That is the ridge, that is the peak of Mount Dandenong. Down this side, it drops off. Just over that ridge, down the other side, it drops off. And the CFA basically were using that as a containment line to stop it from coming over the ridge. And at a certain point, Crispian and I were standing on this roof. We had a fire pump running, we had hoses, all of that sort of thing. The fire was just to the right there, over the ridge, and the big, Simon said I'm not selling it well with all the bushfire stories in. Yeah. The big Sikorsky sky crane thingy, whatever it was called, Elvis, the enormous helicopter that dumps water and fire retardant, was coming over the roof of the house, like just above tree level. So we were standing right here where my cursor is spinning, and Elvis was coming over essentially in the same direction, I think, from the way the camera is looking. It was coming up here over the roof, going to the right a little bit, and then it was dumping its load just to the right along the edge of this ridge here to stop the fire just before it got to the house. So it was close. Yeah, Elvis helicopter. For those of you who, I will pull it up. Yeah, this thing. It was low and loud. It felt like we could reach up and touch it. So it's a heavy lift helicopter with a big tank underneath it. So this big triangular thing underneath is for carrying water or fire retardant, whatever it is that they load it up with. There is a scoop, there is a thing that they can use so they can hover over a water source, suck it all up, load the tank, and then take it and then dump it. So this is what was coming directly over the roof of the house. Yeah, that's quite an epic experience when you have something like that only dozens of meters over your head. Yeah, it makes a racket. So it was very dramatic memories, and Crispian was there on the roof with me as we were spraying things down. Oh, okay. Crispian says Elvis was there too, but it wasn't the one that did that sortie. Yep. Yeah. Oh, the one that did that was a smaller one, not Elvis. Okay. Crispian says, I watched the helicopter flying a bucket all the way up from the reservoir. It came straight at me for a bit. It rotated about us and dumped the water 20 meters away and doused just beyond the fence. Yeah. So if we scan through here, okay, this photo, this is what Crispian is talking about. So that you can see in the distance, that is Sylvan Dam or Sylvan Reservoir, which is one of the big water storage areas for Melbourne. It's a really big dam. You can only see a small part of it there through the trees. So the helicopters were flying down to there, to that water, sucking it up, and then coming straight up that view. Imagine it flying directly towards you there, and then dumping it. So where that photo is taken is essentially, if we get to, it's looking in the exact opposite direction. I should have gone the other way. It's looking in the exact opposite direction. So from here, that view of the water is almost directly behind the camera. It's behind and slightly to the left. But yeah, the helicopters were going from there, coming up to here, going right, and then dumping the water just off the back fence over here. Yeah. Oh, Vic says, I spent a while filling the big buckets under the helicopter buckets with retardant. You spray in lots of foamy water under helicopter downdraft and you can't see it fall in the bubbles. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. As someone pointed out. Who was it? Oh, David says, yes, if the helicopter dropped the water on the house, it would have collapsed the roof. Yeah, 9.5 tons of water on the big one anyway. The smaller helicopters don't carry that much, but still, multiple tons of water being dropped onto your roof, the house would collapse. Imagine like dropping a car onto the roof of a house, or dropping several cars onto the roof of a house. They would just go straight through. Water would do the same thing. So that is the story. That is one of the big personal things going on right now, is having been through a very big cleanup. My sister has done an epic job with preparing this house for sale, doing lots of cleanups and taking truckloads and truckloads of stuff out of there and making so many arrangements. So that's happening. Yeah. What's the expected sale range? I think the price guide is like 800 to 850. It was on the screen there. I'll pull it back up. Yeah. 800 to 850,000 is the price guide. Which is kind of surprisingly low. But we are in a very unstable market right now, very uncertain times. And so the housing market is a little bit messed up, and also you'd want to do a bit of work to it. It's a house that is enormous. It's a bit hard to give a sense of scale from looking at those photos, but it is a very big house. And like large family suitable, that sort of thing. And so you'd want to be someone who needs a big house and is willing to put in work to modernize it. Jackstack said, not bad at all. I expected it to go for higher than that, then it get knocked and developed. But it can't be, because there is an overlay on the area. Can't be subdivided, can't be developed. So you could renovate the existing house, but you couldn't knock it down and build a mansion or something on that location, because the building in that area is super restricted. It used to be that you could do that sort of thing, but now it is an area that what is there now is what is there. You are not going to be building any new properties, like any new places in that area. It's all locked down and restricted. Jackstack said it's already subdivided, isn't it, with multiple house numbers? Yeah, it's on 3 titles. Okay, a little bit of the family history. The property was bought by my grandfather and his 2 brothers. I think it was around 1910, give or take, like within a year or two of that period. And what they did was buy 3 adjacent blocks. So the 3 brothers each bought one of the blocks, and then they just treated it as a single consolidated unit. So that's why it's got the street number of 28, 30, and 32. It's the 3 assigned block numbers. But it's always been treated, like right from the start, it's been treated as if it was a joint property. And eventually one of the 3 brothers moved into it because they used it as a joint like a family owned thing for years, and it was a holiday house essentially. The 3 families would all go and use it as a holiday house at different times, and then they came to an arrangement. I have no idea what the basis of the arrangement was, but the end result was that one of the 3 brothers, who was my mum's uncle, moved into it full time, moved his family into it, and they took it over as their family home. So they then lived in it for a long, long time, and it was their family home. And then when he died eventually, my mum bought it from her uncle's estate. So that's kind of the circuitous route. It partly belonged to her father, then went to her uncle as when it was consolidated, and then went to her. So it's never been treated as 3 separate premises. It's been treated as a single premise with 3 titles. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a rather long sideline. Ooh, I wonder if the printing is finished. Let's see. Let's see if it's screwed up. Oh, it's screwed up. Haha, what a failure. That really messed up. Okay, I'm going to have to clean up the printer. That is so rare. It is very rare for the Bamboo printer to get past the point, because it does first layer detection. What it does is it prints the first layer, and then it goes back, and it's got a micro LiDAR underneath it. So it goes back and it scans the first layer with the micro LiDAR to make sure that it is all on the bed and it is the correct shape before it puts the second layer down. So for it to have failed and not be detected, it's kind of rare. It usually happens when things start peeling up on the second or third layer, and then it all turns to rubbish like this. But that's all right. I can just go and pull the string out and hit print again.
Printer sneezed.
Yeah, yeah. The look on its face says it all. Yeah. And as Tinker says, the printer sneezed. That's not string. Yep. Okay. I'm going to bail on this 2-hour live stream that is now at 3 hours and 13 minutes. I am starting to feel hungry. Just a little. Just a little. John says, do you clean the plate between prints? No, generally not. I have several plates. So I've got this plate, I've got a smooth high temperature plate, and I use different sides for different purposes as well. Because if I do something like print with PETG and then print with PLA, the PLA won't stick properly for at least a print or 2. Like it has to resurface. So what I do is I typically use this side of the plate to print with PLA, and I flip it over, and the other side has glue on it. This side does not have glue on it. It's never had glue on it. So on the other side, I have glue, and then also polycarbonate, because I print with flame retardant polycarbonate for automotive projects where stuff goes into like high temperature, high risk situations. So I use the other side of this with glue on it for printing polycarbonate, and then that way it doesn't contaminate the surface. This side, which I use exclusively for PLA. Tinker says John could have string cheese for lunch. Funny thing is, last night I saw a documentary, Dr. Carl talking about how string cheese is made. Well, it was Dr. Carl visiting a cheese factory that makes string cheese in, I think it was in Victoria. I think it was sort of like, yeah, I'm not sure. Definitely in Australia. I think it was Victoria. Vic says you've improved the docs no end. Why? Because I screw it up so frequently. It's like, oh look, John's found another way to be stupid and misunderstand things. Yeah, I am very happy to be the helpful idiot who finds all the ways things can go wrong. Oh, Amanda says I now use the Buildtech Super Stick Plate for all prints. Oh, okay. So I have a Buildtech thing for my old Prusa. No, not the Prusa, for the Mendelmax. But I only have the bamboo factory plates in here for this one. Simon said, making them idiot proof. Yep. All right, I'm going to go and finish consuming my caffeine. I am going to lunch, and I am going to go and do nice things. So yeah, I hope you have a nice week. I hope you have fun in whatever it is you're doing. And next week, maybe I will reveal the photo. But if anybody else wants to share photos of interesting or fun times of their lives, please bring them along and share them with the class. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay. A very funny scream. Yes, that's right. This is not a live stream, it's a live scream. And because John Whips made that joke, I'm going to say ta-ta for now. Thank you for coming and sleep well.